Welcome. I'm Ted Batt, Director of Visual Arts Program at the Academy Center of the Arts, and I have here with me today Natalie Uhl, who is a senior at EC Glass High School. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. I'm glad to have you here. And so you have a piece of art that you're going to talk about. Do you have it there?
Yes.
You can show me what it is.
All right, here it is. It's probably going to be on the screen, but here it is.
And tell me about the piece. A little bit about it.
Okay, so it's actually a photo that I found on Pinterest. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. I wish I had taken it, but I found it on Pinterest. And when I saw it, it just kind of looked like the type of photo that I would usually take myself. And it's the photo when I saw it, it wasn't like a very aesthetically pleasing or beautiful photo. And I kind of realized that I don't really like to take photos that are aesthetically pleasing because I find it hard to really capture the actual beauty of how you were feeling while you were looking at the view. It's so hard to capture that sort of thing on an iPhone. So I much rather prefer to take photos that are low quality or just not very nice to look at, because for some reason I find it easier to just associate a vibe or a feeling with it. And then when I look back at the photo, I can easily get myself back to where I was when I was looking at the view.
So is your main camera the iPhone? I mean, you don't use the camera? Okay. The
main camera is the iPhone. That's what I'm working with. Okay, so it's a picture of a pool, and when I think of a pool traditionally or normally, I think of little kids screaming and running around and sunshine, and there's always a lifeguard there, always telling you what the rules are. No running, no, horse playing in the pool or whatever. There's always someone, and you're usually there with your family. There's always someone telling you what to do there. And when I saw this photo on Pinterest, it kind of directly contrasted everything that I think of when I think of pools. In the photo, it's dark and there's no one there. The water's still. There's no screaming around, running anywhere, and most importantly, there's not a lifeguard there. And had a meaning with me. The fact that I just turned 18 a little bit ago, so I'm now an adult, and it kind of symbolized some sort of freedom for me. And I now have a new sense of wanting to do something more rebellious or having more freedom in my life. And this photo just kind of represented that for me. In this photo, there is no lifeguard, and I'm at the pool by myself, and it's up to me what I'm going to do. And there's no one that's going to tell me what to do at the pool. And in the corner, there's a sign that says pool rules, and it's got all the rules right there. And that's what I titled my piece, Pool Rules. And it's kind of like an irony a little bit. And the fact that that's kind of contrasting the photo as a whole. But it's also kind of saying there's always going to be some rules of what I'm supposed to do, or there's always going to be people to tell me I should be doing this with my life and I shouldn't be doing this with my life. But ultimately it's my life, and it's up to me to decide what I'm going to be doing with my life. And I think that the photo just kind of encaptured that for me when I saw it. And I got really inspired to paint it.
Oh, so you're going to paint it as well?
Oh, actually it is a painting.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Well, that actually just made my day. The fact that you thought that was a photo.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell on Zoom, but I love the story. I love the story because you placed yourself in there thinking, okay, I'm an adult. I don't need a lifeguard. I don't need to follow all the rules.
Mm-hmm. All rules don't apply to me.
Right. Nice. So was there anything different in your process because of the quarantine?
Yeah. Well, the process was definitely different for me. But I wouldn't say it really had any sort of negative effects on me. It was actually a lot better, the fact that, I still am taking art classes at school, but I don't really have to worry about accidentally leaving my art pieces there or leaving my art supplies at school and having to worry about the transition between school and home.
Right.
I can do all of my work right here at my desk. I have all my supplies here, everything that I need. And I find that the process just went a lot smoother. And I didn't have to worry about that time crunch of I have an hour at school to do art in class. I didn't have to worry about that time crunch. But at home, I have all the time in the world. I can really get into my painting, and I can light a candle. I can dim the lights and make it all. I can really get into my art zone and
you actually You have an art studio.
Yeah, I have a little art studio. It's all by myself. Turn on music or whatever.
Which is great, you know. I mean, a lot of professional artists have a designated space that they create work, and that is a positive side to this quarantine, is that you have an artist space to work with.
Yeah, I personally found that it was a lot more fun to create art that way.
For the arts, and I have with me today Hannah Chi, who is a senior at EC Glass High School. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and we're celebrating Youth Art Month in March, and you have a piece of work you're going to put in the show. Can you show it? Yeah, show it to me and tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so the title is actually in Korean, and in Korean it's 할머니 kimchi, which means grandmother's kimchi in English. And I wanted to create a piece that reflected an important memory that I had growing up, and that was when I would go to my grandmother's house all the time. Even now sometimes, but especially in my childhood, and the best days were when she was making fresh homemade kimchi. And I would walk in, and in the dining room, she'd have these huge bowls all over the place because the kimchi making process isn't exactly easy. And then I remember that I'd be running around playing with my brother and sister, and then she'd call us over, and she'd be like, here, and she would give us like a whole kimchi, a whole cabbage leaf, and feed it to us. And it seems like a very insignificant memory, but that's one of the first things that I recall when I went over to her house all the time.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think food can be a great memory for people, and that you've actually created a painting around it. I think your grandmother would really love it. Has she seen it yet?
She has. She really likes it. And I think she's glad that I did it, because she would always joke around like, why don't you draw me? You should draw me. And so I was like, okay, I'll draw your hands.
So your process, was it any different being in quarantine?
I did have a lot more time to think out the process. Now that, especially like last year when we were cut out of school early and we had nothing to do, I had a lot more time to plan things out. But yeah, that's one of the main things, is just I had more time to do things. My motivation did sometimes lack, since I'm not able to go out and see things, explore, get inspiration from the outside world. But I definitely did have a lot more time to think things out.
Do you have plans for college next year?
I do. I do want to pursue an art major. I've applied to a few schools already, and so hopefully we'll see where that takes me. I did get accepted into the School of the Art Institute of Chicago with the merit scholarship, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they've got a great museum.
Do they?
Oh yeah, the Chicago Art Institute is a phenomenal facility.
Awesome.
Well, that's exciting. So maybe this painting you've done could be part of your portfolio.
Yes, sir. I have made it part of my portfolio.
Fantastic. Well, Hannah, very nice to meet you, and thank you for taking your time to interview.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.